Greetings, 587. I would like to thank Professor Bush, my teammates, and the class as a whole for indulging me in presenting my portion of the 2020 Oregon Wildfires presentation in absentia. In this short video, I will cover response and recovery efforts to the wildfires at the federal and state level, the county and municipal level, as well as coordination, communication, and response and recovery efforts that were carried out by media, private citizens, and industry in the region. Due to the unprecedented devastation of Oregon's 2020 wildfire season, FEMA declared it on September 15th of that year a major disaster. This declaration retroactively covered the period of September 7th to November 3rd, 2020. The state of Oregon's Office of Emergency Management activated the largest response and recovery operation in state history, including the first full activation of the Oregon Disaster Recovery Plan, which employed 1,500 professionals from within the state and beyond. According to the state legislature's After Action report, quote, Oregon's wildfire response efforts can be organized into these core capabilities: planning, public information and warning, operational coordination, fire management and suppression, mass search and rescue operations, fatality management services, infrastructure systems, mass care services, operational communications, and recovery. The response included cooperation of multiple federal government agencies, as well as landowners, contractors, and many volunteer-based agencies. This state and federal response framework was built on a foundation laid by county-level responses. Marion County officials had begun evacuation protocols as early as Monday, September 7th, as the Beachy Creek fire continued to spread, and in neighboring Clackamas County, the soon-to-be deadly Riverside fire was already a concern as well. Clear communication between various levels of government, municipal stakeholders, media, and private citizens was also an important part of the disaster response. This municipal website of Gates, Oregon, became a clearinghouse of sorts for preparedness and recovery information, linking readers with county, state, federal, housing, and other resources. While fire crews and evacuation personnel were busy battling the blazes, rumor and misinformation became a further complicating factor. The Medford Police Department turned to social media for debunking claims that either Antifa or the Proud Boys were intentionally setting fires, while Eugene Weekly published a long list of false information that had been circulating online and among affected communities. Counteracting such misinformation can be incredibly difficult once it has reached the public. However, we can be hopeful that such efforts by local media and law enforcement agencies were instrumental in preventing further loss of life from these tragedies. Now, turning from response to recovery, we will remember that recovery is a longer term and, in this case, ongoing process, and that it can encompass both finding ways to return a community to pre-disaster conditions, but also often finding ways to adapt and discovering and inventing new ways to move forward. At the state level, this included community planning and capacity building, economic recovery, health services, social services, disaster housing, infrastructure systems, and natural and cultural considerations. The emergency support functions also included coordinating with volunteers and donations from non governmental entities, as well as engagement with local and tribal jurisdictions to ensure that equity and inclusion were guiding lights. ODOT's Hazard Tree and Debris Removal Operations After Action report detailed a three-step process: roadway clearance, household hazardous waste removal, and debris removal from public and private lands. Time constraints restrict me from going into too much detail about economic recovery, but effects of the wildfires to the forest sector, parks and rec, local businesses, interstate commerce, and lost wages by the workforce are ongoing. As of November 14th, 2022, more than 1,100 Oregon households have received some amount of help from the state's $150 million wildfire recovery program. Additionally, many cities and towns outside of evacuation zones experienced substantial smoke and hazardous air quality. Portland State's Homelessness Research and Action Collaborative published a report, Stories from the Outside, which looks at detrimental health effects experienced by Portland's unhoused populations. And that wraps it up for my portion of the 2020 Oregon Wildfires report and presentation. I apologize that I can't be here in person with you for Q&A or to hear the other reports from the class. If you'd like more information about some of what I've talked about, you can refer to the handouts that I left behind with my comrades. And I look forward to reconvening for the end of the semester. Cheers.